Coming to the stage next is Francie Jaffe from the City of Longmont.
If you're like me, you might be really excited about all the communities making commitments towards 100% renewable electricity, taking steps to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, and overall acting on climate change. If you're even more like me, you actually might live in one of those communities. I work and live in the City of Longmont. The city in 2018 with Platte River Power Authority made the commitment to transitioning to 100% renewable electricity by 2030 that's reliable and affordable. Along with that transition, the city is also looking towards how do we create a just transition. Now, I know what some of you are thinking, isn't a transition the same thing as a just transition? And you're not wrong. All transitions should be just transitions, but the way you engage the community can be very different than how you actually bring on new technical resources of renewable energy. But I'm getting ahead of myself. I should first explain exactly what is a just transition and how it relates to energy transitions. Because often when we talk about energy, workers, communities of color, and low-income communities are the most impacted by these transitions, but are the least heard. So for workers, a just transition means being part of the transition to a new green economy and having the opportunities and job opportunities instead of having their whole career kind of disappear overnight. For low-income communities and communities of color, it means being heard. Often these communities have had the worst impacts from the negative air quality from fossil fuels, but are the least heard in the decision-making process. So as we make these commitments to 100% renewable electricity or 100% renewable energy, we need to figure out how do we include the voices and empower workers in our underserved and underrepresented communities that are making these decisions. And this looks different depending on the community that you're in. For Longmont, if we're just looking at within the city, we realized that would be a greater impact on residents. So we decided to start there and then later focus on the impacted jobs within and outside the community. So right now, Platte River Power Authority is updating their integrated resource plan, so we don't know all of the impacts. But what we can do is look at where we are today and access to affordable energy and affordable energy efficiency. So how we did this is this past year we had a survey for households making less than $50,000 per year and found that 76% were worried about affording their utility bill in the past year. Diving deeper into that number, we found that households who are renters, households with children, and households who identify as Latino or Hispanic were even more worried than other demographics about affording their utility bill, highlighting a potential inequity in our community. We also asked about different energy efficiency programs and found that 56% of respondents were not aware of energy assistance programs in our community, highlighting a deficiency in how we did outreach to our community. So even if solar is becoming one of the cheapest energies on the market, and even if rates don't change, we have a problem today in access to affordable electricity and affordable energy efficiency. But we didn't just ask about the burdens. We also asked about the solutions and hosted listening sessions where we asked members of our community about their recommendations for how we can transition to a just energy future. And we learned a lot of great responses, from ways we can actually improve our outreach to different ways to save energy, like how you can actually wash white clothing in cold water and don't have to use that extra energy to heat the hot water. And we're not done learning. Next year, we're pulling together a Just Transition Plan committee of city staff and community members who will work to take what we learned this past year and actually develop policy and program recommendations of how we can move towards this just transition. Because if you just think about the economic and environmental costs and not the social, you actually create an imbalanced system. And you actually miss out on really diverse and innovative solutions if you only listen to the loudest people or the people who are able to be in the room. Because some of the best ideas actually come from those who have been energy efficient for years, not because they want to act on climate change, because it was the most affordable option, or it's just what their family has been doing for years. So I am really excited about transitions to 100% renewable electricity, but I'm even more excited about the steps that Longmont is taking and the opportunity of how we can move forward towards a just and sustainable future for all. Thank you.